Today, I just filmed a Dollar Tree haul, so if you hear the bags, I'm sorry. But I am here today for a story time. A lot of you guys, if you guys are on my Tiphani Spaulding YouTube Facebook page, you guys know that I asked, I think it was on Friday, what you guys thought about story times and such. And that's what I'm here to do today because I did get some pretty good feedback today. So just go ahead and get right into it. What story do I want to tell today? I have 3 stories that I want to share with you all. And I guess I'll do the How I Almost Died story. So, if you guys don't know at all, I have asthma, and it can be pretty bad sometimes. It's been getting better since my doctor switched my medications. So, it was a pretty rough couple of years to figure out everything that was wrong. I was diagnosed with asthma back in 2012 or the very beginning of 2013. One or the other. I don't remember exactly when. But I was diagnosed with asthma, and they told me that it was pretty severe and that I needed to see a pulmonologist, which is a lung doctor. So I've been going to this lung doctor, and he never changed my medications at all. He wasn't doing anything. He kept put me on the medications when I was first diagnosed, and then he never tried to change them up, even though they were not helping. So, what we did is I ended up switching to a different pulmonologist, and he's helped me. He changed me to a new medication, and it's been working wonders. I feel great. But back in, I want to say it was February of 2014, I had a severe asthma attack. I remember going out to my mom, telling her that I was having a very hard time breathing, that I think I was having an asthma attack. So my mom called an ambulance because it was so bad that she just didn't want a chance taking me over by herself and having something bad happen to me. Plus, it was to the point I couldn't walk, I couldn't move. So she called an ambulance. They came, they got me in a stair chair because I couldn't even walk to the point where I could get down the steps on my own. So they got me in the stair chair, and the last thing I remember is them taking me down the steps, and then I just passed out, or my mind just doesn't want to remember any of it or something. I don't know exactly, but I guess they treated me. I was doing pretty good, and they sent me home. And then I ended up going back out about 3 hours after I got back home, and I was having more difficulty breathing again, and the whole right side of my body was puffy. My face, half of my face was swollen, my hands, my chest, my stomach, my legs, everything on my right side was pretty much really swollen. And so my mom took me back over. She wasn't sure what was going on. And mind you, I remember none of this at all. So she took me back over. They treated me, and they did another chest x-ray because I always get a chest x-ray if I go in for an asthma attack. This way they can weed out whether it's pneumonia or bronchitis or whatnot. So they did a chest x-ray, and it showed that I had a very small hole in my lung. And they kept giving me treatments, and nothing was helping, and I was gone. I don't remember what all happened. My mom nor my dad will tell me because they don't want me to remember things if I don't have to. So I ended up being intubated I was on a ventilator. I had a tube down my throat for 3 days, I think. And they finally started to like wean me off of the sedation so that I could wake up and everything after they had removed the tube. And when they were actually putting the tube in, I remember them like doing it in a way. So I don't remember anything from the time that I left the stairs or got down the stairs at my house the first time I went up until they started putting the tube in. I remember seeing a blue haze of some sort, and there were 2 doctors leaning over me, and I don't know what exactly they were saying, but I felt like I was suffocating because they were shoving this tube down my throat, so I felt like I was choking or something. And then, like, in my mind, these doctors were saying, it's okay, we're gonna get her. She's, it just, in my mind, it felt like they were choking me. So that's all I remember about them putting the tube in. I don't remember anything else after that or anything. So they were gonna life flight me to Pittsburgh Hospital, but with the air in my body that was seeping out from the hole in my lungs, I wasn't good enough, or what's the word? I can't think of the word. I wasn't in good enough shape or condition to be life flighted. Then they decided, oh, well, we'll just take her down by ambulance. But that would have been a very expensive ambulance ride, being intubated and going all the way to Pittsburgh. So they opted to just keep me there at Greenville Hospital where I went in at. And so after they put the tube in and everything, they started weaning me off of the sedation to wake me up and everything like that. And I remember telling my mom that I had to pee. But before that, I guess, when I first started to wake up, I started pulling at my IVs, trying to get them out. So my dad's holding me down and calling for the doctor, and nobody's coming. So he's just holding me down, and he goes like this and tells me, Missy, you better not try to do that because you're in a hospital or something. I don't exactly remember because I don't remember that part. But I guess I looked at him, tried to bite him, and he's like, don't you bite me. And I guess I said, I'll fucking bite you. So, I don't know. I don't remember any of that. But then I remember my mom holding my hand, and I looked at her, I told her I had to pee, and she told me, just let go. And so the last thing I remember was them putting the tube in my throat, and then my mom telling me to just let go. I ripped my hand away from her. I thought she was talking about the doctors, giving the doctors the go-ahead to kill me or something. I don't know, but I ripped my hand away from her. She told me that I have a catheter in, that I'm in the hospital, that I'm fine, and I gave her my hand back and stuff like that. So then I went back to sleep because I was tired or something. I dozed back off. I woke up to the doctor. He was like, are you okay? Do you know where you are? Do you know your name? How old you are? Your birthday? That sort of thing. And I was just kind of baffled because it was so many questions all at once. He asked if I knew where I was again, and I said no. And he told me I was in Greenville Hospital, and he gave me the layout of what had happened. And he asked me my name, my age, and that sort of thing, and that's stuff I could remember. So I was very weak because I hadn't had real food in quite a long time. It was 4 or 5 days before I had finally had real food again. Sorry about my throat. So I ended up, they put me on a liquid diet so I could eat applesauce and Jello and water, just soft stuff that I didn't have to chew really much, a whole lot to swallow. Well, my mom went down to smoke a cigarette with my brother, and they were feeding me this lemon Jello, and I don't like lemon, and I kept spitting it out. And the nurse kept telling me, well, honey, if you don't eat, then you're not going to be able to get good food, real solid food for dinner. and I just kept spitting it out. I ate the applesauce like it was nothing, but the Jello, So my mom comes back in and she tries to feed it to me again. So she tries, maybe it's just because it wasn't my mom that was trying to feed me or something, but it was just because of the flavor. And my mom looked at the Jello. She's like, no wonder you keep spitting it out. It's lemon. You don't like lemon. And I just kept looking at her like, no, I don't. But they ended up giving me, it was like orange or cherry or something, and I gulped it down like it was nothing. They're like, yeah, you're good to get solid foods again. So I ended up staying in the hospital for a couple of more days just to completely recover. And yeah, I had 3 IVs in my neck. They left them in there even after they took me off of the tube. But I have 3 like dots on my neck where they had IVs going straight into my artery. It wasn't just into a vein. I had an IV here or here. I can't remember. I think it was here. Had an IV like in the middle of my arm here on both arms. And they had my one arm completely free. And they only had this one left in. They had taken the one out of this arm, both out of this arm. And I even had some in my legs because I was hooked up to so many machines and so many medications just to keep everything going. I had the sedation. I had antibiotics going. I had it was like 4 hours. I was on Solumedrol, which is a steroid. I was on saline. I was on all kinds of different stuff. And they just wanted different sites that they could access in case of emergency. So yeah, that is the time that I almost died. I guess my mom and brother stayed at the hospital the entire time. A couple people had came to see me, but I didn't remember them. And yeah, so I ended up like pretty much having to relearn how to walk, how to stand, how to sit, even how to talk, because it was just such a traumatic experience that my body went through that nothing sat right with me, that I just had to completely like pretty much relearn it. Once I figured it out, I was walking great, talking great, but I couldn't even hold a pencil right because my body was just so weak. And my brain it doesn't want to remember any other parts. And I can understand why. It was pretty traumatic. Even remembering the tube going in was horrible. So it was a pretty rough week for me and my family included. Yeah, I had people driving 45 minutes to come and see how I was. I had neighbors coming and checking up on me and everything. Even my ex-boyfriend's mother, she was working in the cafeteria. She came up to see me, and she also gave my mom and brother free food vouchers. It was $3 a day for the whole week, and they could go down and get $10 or something like that each worth of breakfast food, lunch food, dinner food, drink, that sort of thing. This way that she knew that they were taken care of, because it was on one of my dad's off weeks where he didn't get paid because my dad got paid every other week. So he wasn't getting paid, and I was in the hospital. My mom was stuck there. Well, she wasn't stuck there. She could leave if she wanted to, but she was just too scared, and my dad wouldn't have left had he not had to work. So yeah, that's it for this story time. I hope you guys enjoyed, and no, I'm not looking for sympathy or anything like that. I was just story time. I do have 2 other story times that I want to share with you guys, but I will save those all for the following weeks. And if there are any stories that you would like to hear about, whether it be my favorite pet or just, I don't even know, just something, my favorite vacation or whatever, just let me know and I will be sure to add that to the list to be in a video of my story time. And if you guys like these videos, give this video a huge thumbs up and I will be sure to keep making more. But before you guys go, check down in the description box down there because I got a P.O. box today. Woo! If you guys would like to send me anything, just go ahead and send it to that address and I will be sure to check it every once in a while to see if I have any packages or letters, postcards, just any kind of cards or anything. If you guys feel up to sending me something, go for it. I got the P.O. box because I don't feel safe giving out my personal home address because I've given it to some people and they never sent me what they told me that they would. And I don't feel comfortable giving it out because of the world that we live in. So just be kind and everything like that. If you send me something, if you don't want to send me something, that's perfectly fine. I don't mind. I don't care. But I've had a couple people ask me if they could send me something. So this is for those guys. And I will be sure to do an unboxing video for every package that I get. And if you guys write me a letter or a card or a postcard or whatever, if you guys write on it, I don't want this to be read on in a video. I will be sure to keep those private. If you guys say, if you don't want to be named, I'll be sure to do that. But whenever I do unboxing videos or anything like that, I be sure to, I make sure that I don't show your address nor my address. Obviously, I won't really care about my address because it'll be to my P.O. box. But yeah, so I will see you guys all next week. Bye.